Okay guys, welcome back to another Scrappin' Irish video. And what am I going to do on this video? Well, a while back you would have seen me do a video where I got the gold from fingers, from slot card fingers. Essentially they were modems, I think the slot cards were, and I cut the gold and I was expecting to get a good amount of it back, but in the end it ended up being, I think, about a gram or less than a gram or something like that. It was very little amount of gold for the amount of fingers that was done. So this time I'm going to, this video is going to be about them, get them here. Then you would have seen the video where I got the RAM that I bought on eBay just to see is it worth, or how much will I lose, or will I make money or whatever. So this is the RAM fingers that I got. So you will have seen that video. I weighed them, and unfortunately I don't know what they weigh now, so I'm gonna have to weigh them again. So let me get my scales. I've invested in new scales, which is one of these digital type scales. So let me get something here. So I'll put that on there, and we'll turn it that way because doesn't matter which way I turn it, because we're going to be reading this. It'll give us our weights. So I invested in this scales. So again, anyone that has super chatted me at any stage, this is where I do put some money that I get from the super chat. And again, super chat didn't cover, super chats I make don't cover any of the stuff I buy. I always put more money with them to buy stuff. So I bought this. So let's just get a weight on these again, because I forget what there was. So we have it in kgs. So we're just going to fill this tub up and see what we have in weight. So we have half a kg there anyhow, which is about 2 pounds, a bit over 2 pounds. Is it? Oh no, sorry, what I'm saying, half a kg is not 2 pounds. A kg is 2 pounds. Get my figures right, and we'll pour the rest in. So we've ended up with 0.6 of a kg. Can we change the units? So there we go. 1 pound 5 ounces. So for you Americanized people, we've 1 pound 5 ounces, and what is that in pounds? 1.45 and 0.65 of a kg. So there we go. So that's what we've ended up with in total. So we're going to go and we're going to put these into copper chloride. So again guys, you would have seen in previous videos where I made the copper chloride from scratch. So again, I'll put a link to that maybe at the end of the video. So if you want to see how I made the copper chloride from scratch, but I won't be making copper chloride from scratch now, because I can use the copper chloride I've already made to make more copper chloride, if you get my meaning and how it's done. But first off, before we go any further, as always guys, please think safety. So we have our mask with respirator. Again, I'll be doing this outside, and I have my gloves that I'll be wearing when I'm doing this. So we're going to go out, we're going to get this going. We're going to put these into a container, we're going to put an air bubble on it, and we're going to get the copper chloride into it, and we're going to let it go from there, and let it run for a while, and we'll see where we end up with more gold out of these, more gold foils out of these than we did out of the slot cards, which was disappointing, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm not going to count my chickens this time like I did the last time and say, oh, I think we're going to do well on this. We'll see what it is, and it is what it is. So let's go and get this into the copper chloride. Okay, so here we are outside, and we have our empty container, and we have our container with old copper chloride that I can reuse to use up the remainder acid and then refresh it if I need to. So first thing off, I'm going to put my hose from the bubbler into the bottom. So we're just going to put that in there, and we're just going to tip in the fingers in on top of it. So we've got our bubbler underneath and we have our fingers up on top. I won't switch on the bubbler yet. What we're going to do is we're going to pour in the copper chloride. So again, gloves are on. Okay, so we have it on now and we're just going to switch on the pump. So here we are, it's working away. We're going to leave that working for a few days and we'll come back and we'll make sure that it is working away. We'll stir it up, we'll use up any of the HCl acid that's in there that has to be used up in that copper chloride to dissolve the copper out from underneath it. And once that's done, it should release the flakes, and if we need to refresh, we'll take out some of the copper chloride and put in some fresh HCl to get it going again. So we'll let that run for a few days and we'll come back and see what it's like. So let's see how we left it for a few days and how we got on. Okay, so let's see how we've got on so far. So we'll take off the top. As you can see, the copper chloride is looking very, very black, so we have a lot of copper in it. We'll take out the hose. I see flakes, which is a good sign. So we know it's been working away, but we are promised rain in the next day or so. So I want to try and maybe filter out as much of this as I can and see what flakes we've got so far and put in a fresh, let me turn that camera a bit more this way so you can see. So I can put in a fresh, freshen that up with some more HCl and a little bit of copper chloride, and then we can put the remainder of the copper chloride into my stock pots, and at some stage we'll deal with that on another video so you can see how I get rid of the copper chloride and dispose of it in a safe way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour some of this off into this container. So again, because the camera is here, it's a bit more awkward. So we can see some of the flakes are going through. So we'll let that drain away. While that's draining, we'll... Oh, gone the wrong way again. So you can see in here, if I get my stirrer, you can see that it has taken some of the flakes, not all the flakes off yet. Again, it's if I freshen up the HCl, we should get the rest, freshen up the copper chloride with some fresh HCl, we'll get the rest off. But for the moment, we're going to drain this out and get all these gold flakes into here. So I'm going to continue on doing that, and we'll come back once I've done and drained it out, or once we've filtered, and we'll see what we've got so far, and we can have a look at it and see what's left to be done, and we'll put in some fresh HCl with some of the copper chloride and just freshen it up and get the bubbler going again. So we'll see how we get on there. Okay, so we've filtered out so far what's gone. You can see there the gold dust on there, so we'll just use some water to wash that down into a bigger, rather than have it all just sitting up there on the filter. We'll wash it all down off the filter. Okay, so my plan now is, as you can see in there, the flakes got very small again, the same as when I done that other video a while back on the gold fingers from the slot cards. So my plan here, I think it's to do with the bubbler, because usually I would do this in the bucket and bucket method, which I'll put a link somewhere, where we are, up here, somewhere to that video where I use the bucket in bucket method of doing this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split these into 2 lots. So again, I'll put roughly about that much into each. So it gives, you can see in there's still loads of flakes in here that I haven't filtered out yet. But what I'm going to do, instead of putting in the hose, the bubbler, I'm just going to put these into some copper chloride on their own and let them sit for a week or so, because the rain is promised, and rather than put the bubbler on outside in the rain, I can leave these sitting out here, cover them and leave them sitting out in the rain, and nothing's going to happen once I have the lid on it, and I can just do it. So what I'm going to use is the copper chloride I've already used, and I'm going to split it into the 2. So we're going to pour some in there, and what I'm going to do then is, because I think most of that copper chloride the acid has been used up already, I'm going to add more HCl to each of them. So I'm just going to add some in there, and some in there, and hopefully this will mean I get bigger flakes coming off rather than the smaller flakes, because I think the bubbler on is too intense, and what's happening is we're getting it breaking down the flakes into really small flakes. So I'd rather have them in bigger flakes. It's easier to deal with when you're getting them off the filter and stuff like that, but it makes no difference really. But I just want to make sure that we're getting all the flakes out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover them too, leave them like that for a week. I'll come out every so often, just shake it up, stir it up, shake it up to release any flakes that's building up, and we'll come back in a week and we'll see how it has progressed, because we're promised rain here for the next week, so I won't be doing much outside. And as I said already, because my fume hood doesn't work, I like to do everything outside involving the fumes. So let's go and see how we progressed in a week. Again, just going to put these lids on. I'll just show you, that's all I'm going to do. Put them lids on, they seal up. So one on there and one on here, and that's it. Just seal them up, and that's it. And all I'm going to do then, I can shake it like that every so often, and that will allow me to stir it up. But I'm not going to put the air bubbler in. I'm going to let it work for a week, and we're going to see how we got on. Do we get better flakes out of it than if we did without the other thing? So just make sure they're sealed up properly. We don't want anything knocking them over and spilling the acid out. So let's see how we got on after 1 week. Okay, so we're ready for the final filter of it. I filtered it a few times, and so far what I've done 2 separate things. So this stuff that I filtered and have dried, as you can see, it's fairly dirty. So it's got a lot of dust, dirt, whatever in there. So I'm not sure if that's gold powder of some sort that has dropped out and whether gold got dissolved or not, or whether it's tin or some of that. So what I'm going to do with this bit, I'm going to put some HCl in there, and just the HCl will dissolve anything that isn't gold flakes. So it'll dissolve any silver or anything like that. I'm hoping if there's any silver powder there or whatever, the HCl so should dissolve that back into solution. I'm just leaving it with the gold flakes, and I'll filter them out separately. So I'm just leaving that aside yet. I will get away in at the very end. So this is what I have so far, and as you can see, it looks fairly nice in there. So if we, again, there will be a certain amount of dirtiness got into it, but you can see there's some very fine flakes, and then there's bigger stuff. But we'll just pour it off, and you'll get a look at it going into the container. So you can see some very fine flakes, and then you can see in here As Saunders would say, she'd usually say brassy goodness. Well, I'd say goldy goodness. So some lovely goldy goodness in there. So again, I'm probably just going to filter that one first, let that filter and add it maybe to the other stuff, or will I? No, I'm going to put it all in one. What the hell? All in. Let's filter it all. So we're just pouring it off. Make sure we get all them flakes out. So just wash down the side. So I think that's it. No more gold flakes left in there. So you can see in here now we have the gold just filtering away. So I'm going to let that filter, let that dry then, brush it off into a little container and get a weigh in and see what do we get. Looking at it so far, I think I'm losing my shirt on this deal, but we'll see what happens. You might see Scrapping Irish going around shirtless for a while. But so we'll come back once that's all filtered, all dried, and we'll get a weigh-in and see what we end up with. And then, as I say, the weigh-in will not be, so if I get 4 grams or 2 grams or 3 grams, remember that's not pure gold, that's just the gold flakes. So that will have to be refined more. So I will lose a percentage of that to try and get it up to 24 carat 999. So let's see how we got on. What did the weigh-in bring? Okay, so I have dried out all the foils now, and that's what we get. So it's all right, nothing major, but we'll give it away and we'll see what it is. So because I have it in this pot, I'm not going to tip it down. I'm going to just zero this out using the same pot or container. Let me zero that. So we're zeroed. So what do you think it is, guys? What weight do you think I have there in that? Just have a look again. So not awfully full. So we'll take it off and we'll put the next one down. So there you go, 4 grams it's in. Check that. 5 grams. There you go. I thought it was 5. So there we go, 5 grams. Scales, and they're down to 4. Scales isn't the best scales in the world I have at the moment. I need to purchase a new one. I think this one is kind of sticking and stuff like that, because there's the 5 and then it'll go to 4 and then it might go to 6. But anyway, roughly 5 grams. So that's what I've ended up with in the end. So we'll put that into Acarija probably in an upcoming video, and we'll see what we get out of that in return. Will we get a gram? Will we get half a gram? Will we? I was expecting hopefully to get 1.5 grams, maybe 2 grams out of it, but I don't know what's going to happen there with that weight. There wasn't a huge amount. So that's it really for the end of the video, guys. As always, I do appreciate you giving up the time to watch my videos. So thanks a lot again, guys, and as always, give us a thumbs up if you don't mind, and catch you on the next one. And keep an eye out for my lives on Sunday nights, 8 p.m. GMT time and 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if I'm still doing them, this could be 20 years down the road, I mightn't even be around anymore. So check it out, guys, and if you don't mind, as I said already, give it a like, give it a share, comment if you feel that you need to say something, and catch you on the next one, and keep on looking for that gold, guys.